Hello everyone and welcome back to PAX and Recreation. And no, we're not doing figures this time, but for today's podcast video of sorts, we're going to do another Spider-Man box because, well, I bought a couple, so bear with me. But remember how in the last podcast I said, like, well, we're using Wolverine big for Marvel because I don't have a Spider-Man playmat and I can find the Game Genic merch anywhere. Because Game Genic is very weird to find stuff. Sometimes you find stuff in some stores, sometimes you don't. There are some stores that are like 100% Game Genic stuff, and sometimes they get new stuff, sometimes they don't, etc. So I like Game Genic as like their quality and all that is great, but the distribution is weird. So the Wolverine playmat, I was like, oh, this is a Game Genic playmat. This is from another card game, right? And I remember which card game it was, Marvel Champions. And I told you I have one for Doctor Strange. So I was looking into it, and turns out I could find a Spider-Man playmat. Are you ready for this? Pam, 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 pam. Marvel Champions. So, see, when in doubt, go with the other stuff. It's like Final Fantasy. Can't find official Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy Ultra Pro stuff? Just go get Final Fantasy card game stuff. It just works. So, see, the thing is, this thing was sitting in a shelf for so long. Apparently, this was like, I got this before the spider craziness, right? And it was just given to me by a friend of mine. So recently, so they bought this a long time ago. It's not open, and it was just sitting in a shelf. And so that you know, I will say the hypocrisy, but not really, because I mean, the MTG Spider-Man set is also not selling, so whatever. But so that you see the hypocrisy, like this is a perfectly good playmat with a very iconic design, and I like this line because if you see like the Doctor Strange one is just like the Akamoto's eye, you know, the medallion that he has, and Iron Man is just like the armor and stuff like that. So it's very like more or less abstract. In this case, it's Spider-Man's chest to a degree, right? Well, technically, yeah, it's a chest. So, but look at how long this thing was sitting in a shelf. That is dust. So lovely. Now, without further ado, I think it's sticking to the gloves. Crazy. Without further ado, let's open this. I think this is the first. This is accidentally the first unboxing that we do of a playmat, because normally the playmats are already on display unless they are they come like with a Pokemon product or something, or another card game product. Just in case you're curious, this is what normally Game Genic says for their playmats. Exclusive and unique art developed by Game Genic. Well, I mean, sure. Full color printed game mat with a Spider-Man artwork. Sure. Perfect for all Marvel fans, for Marvel Champions and a vast variety of different games. Little they knew that it will be Magic soon. Awesome centered graphics to avoid distraction during gameplay. It's kind of a stupid thing to say, but it's actually a very relevant thing, because sometimes I don't like playmats that are like all over the place, and even for videos it's kind of shit. Like it's really difficult for see what's happening in the back. Softy cushion game mat with comfortable thickness of 2 millimeters. Ultra fine surface is ultra fine. Provides safe environment for cards and accessories. Anti-slip backside and made from natural rubber, which is actually a thing. Did you know that Ford? I hate the playmat boxes, like all of them, like Ultra Pro, etc. It's like they made an effort so that these boxes always rip when you open them, unless you do this kung fu of pressing the box. And it's like, what? You want me to buy like tubes to carry them? I just keep them in the box. It's like, guys, I'm not going to buy like a $10 tube for each playmat. Oh, my hands are full of dust. Damn it. Nice looking. Actually, it's very nice looking. Now, and at least it unrolled correctly. You can see it in its totality because this camera is perfectly centered. But this is not quite there. I don't know how Ultra Pro does it. Maybe it's because their playmats are thinner. But Ultra Pro are the only ones that when you unroll them, they really unroll, like 100%. Game Genic still happens a little bit. And Ultimate Guard, it's kind of difficult. I did an opening one of these days, it was like months ago, of like the Alchemist Trove or something. And that thing, to this day, is still curled to this side. I have curled it the opposite way, etc. still. But hey, Nice background. Nice. Cool. So, well, I guess since we're doing the review, I guess GameGenic, send me stuff. The finishing is not quite there. I mean, I don't mind, but it looks like I played with this playmat for like 10 years and not really. So, kind of bad. And you can tell if you're playing in a black table, like it's, well, I have a black cloth, but it really shows, right? So, not the best of finishes, as you can see. Oh, this is dust, I guess, or something. But this is not dust. It's like the seams are not, but it is kind of thick and it is kind of cool. So there you go. Now after this bonus review of GameGenic Spider-Man playmat from Marvel Champions, let's do the Marvel Champion thing of Spider-Man. So a week already passed since the official launch already happened. I like to start the podcast like that officially, you know. Starting the podcast like a week already passed since we last saw our heroes. And man, this set is weird as balls. Like, I am having the strongest, hardest, weirdest mixed feelings with this freaking set. It's crazy. Because I like Spider-Man. Like, I like Marvel shit. Like, I mean, not all Marvel. Like, I know that when I say this, I come off as like, I don't know, snobby or some shit like that, but I swear it's not my intention. When I say I like Marvel, but not all Marvel stuff, what I mean is that, to me, and this is going to sound like gatekeepy-ish, but, well, which I guess you can't really avoid if we're going to talk universes beyond in Magic, that always comes up as gatekeepy. And yes, by the way, I guess before we start, yes, have you seen that famous post of like, I am a pig and I eat slob, oink oink? Well, man, we're reaching like a weird breaking point with the community where like the professor, you can say that like the prof is always negative, but I don't think so. People always say that the prof is always negative. I think that the prof criticizes the stuff, which I think is very valid. I wouldn't say he's negative. Now, I guess if you just want to see it as like, this is something that I threw my money at, I don't want to think about, and I just want to, this is a hobby of sorts, like maybe just use it as a distraction from real life, which is what we normally do with hobbies, and because this is not an investment, even though some people treat it like that. Ooh, first booster, and we already get a comic book card? Nice! Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly. Lovely. I love these freaking cards, like visually, just to make the distinction. So there is that. Amazing acrobatics, and then the usual island. At least the tokens are double-sided, and I get a lot of hot dogs, so that's cool. But phrases that I never thought I would say while opening a box of cards. I'm getting a lot of hot dogs, so that's cool. I think the prof. I think that, yeah, like, for example, it happened to me, right? It happened to me too. I came back to the game. I really started to engage with the game because of the prof. I was looking for some accessory tips and reviews. And I, found the professor's channel, which I think happened to a lot of people. And it's funny that he doesn't do those anymore, like, the best sleeves and binders and all that. And I guess he doesn't need to anymore, which is good because that leaves me an opening. Thank you, prof. I only exist because of you, which kind of makes me the prof's son to a degree. But, I guess he evolved, and a lot of people just looked up to him for advice and knowledge and opinions and stuff, because he clearly is a person that loves this game and he's been playing it for a long time. And, well, he gives those profs vibes. I saw online that there is a lot of people that refuse to call him the professor and they just call him like Brian. Like, it's an insult. Like, it's his name, people. But a lot of people are just like, yeah, Brian doesn't understand. It's like, first, it's his name. It's like, I don't know why you're saying it like that way. And two, like, well, he is a professor on the literal sense, but if because he worked like that, but if you really want to get meta, he's a Magic the Gathering professor. A lot of people learn things about the game or learn how to play because of him. So to me, he's my Magic professor. So there is that. So I don't think he's negative, but it's true that if you found his channel for X thing, and then a lot of the videos are like, well, this is not very good. Maybe some people can get that perception, but I will never ask the prof to change his way, because yes, the reason why the prof doesn't have all the ads and the preview cards and all that shit that for example the Game Nights podcast gameplay thing gets, with Jim and Josh, is because, well, the prof, I mean, no disrespect to anyone, but like the prof is not a shield for Wizards. So, and Wizards knows that, and that's why Wizards doesn't give him anything. I was very surprised when they gave him like cards for Doctor Who, and I could bet my freaking hand that they only gave him those cards because Gavin was like, listen guys, he is the biggest Magic the Gathering channel. He is a Doctor Who fan, and apparently they are friends or something. So it's like, really? And I guess somewhere Wizard was like, okay. And then they gave him some other cards. But it's funny because I remember they gave him a card for, I don't remember which set it was. I think it was Eden Rift or something. Or Dragonstorm, I don't remember. And it was like a uncommon kind of card. And the prof just made the video was like a joking around that. I found it very funny. I believe that somewhere the Wizards didn't. And that's why I haven't seen any more cards from him, I think. So, at the end of the day, he's in a very rough position. Like I remember the whole, I want to believe, self-imposed drama, because I didn't see anyone criticizing. And if there was people criticizing, I'm sure it was a very, very small minority. But when he was doing the Professor's Trove, which was with GameGenic, mind you, and yes, we reviewed that in this channel, so click here or something. And then he did like 2 or 3 videos basically saying like, I'm sorry, I know that this compromises my integrity because I review GameGenic stuff, but nice, Iron Spider. But nice, the card that everyone wants, Imposter Syndrome, because it's a meme, you see? Whenever a non-token creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary. The memes, guys. I say that, but I love Spider-Man. So. And people were like, "Ugh, this compromises." And the guy did like 3-4 videos saying like, "Man, it was like the best collaboration that I could hope for to do something that is the quality that I believe, but I understand it compromises my integrity." I was like, "Brother, just enjoy your life." Like recently, he did like a video. It was like, this video will be deleted in 48 hours, and I was like, oh man, they did something to the man. And me, as a lot of people were clickbaited into, was basically a merch drop, and it was it was like a limited time merch drop. That's why the video was going to be deleted, and I was like, that's cool. I personally didn't like the designs, not because I don't like the Tolarian Community logo, but I was like, I don't, I mean, prof, don't shame me. If you saw the other video, I bought the same box from your design line like 8 times. So don't shame me. But basically, those, because I like those boxes. But the merch not so much. But I remember all the comments were like, you either leave enough to like, it was something like, you either leave enough to fight secret lair drops or you become one or something like that. Because, well, it was a limited time secret lair drop. So there you go. But, a guy has to eat. Plus, he has a lot of fans. For fans outside of the US, it's kind of complicated to get some prof-related stuff, but I get it. I mean, he's like a small company, and shipping stuff between countries between continents, really, is kind of boof. But so the prof said stuff, and then Kyle Hill said stuff too. And if you don't get that joke, what are you doing in this community? No, but basically, Brian Keebler also voiced some concerns. And then we had that, I don't remember the name of the guy, but we had that big text about like the metaphor with the restaurant and I'm a pig and I eat stuff and whatnot. And a lot of more people are being vocal. And even this week, I say this while opening the cards and going like, right? But gonna be honest, if I didn't had the channel and therefore somewhat of a need to like, guys, new stuff and show it up and whatnot, I likely wouldn't have bought this set. And I am a Spider-Man fan. Likely what I would have done is, if I could get my hands on, buy maybe one collector booster box, but I'm not going to pay those prices, so not buying those at all. And I guess the only thing is the bundles, because I like bundles. So I will buy 2 bundles, and that's it. So, and I like Spider-Man, but the problem is that the visual style is weird, doesn't really click with me. That's why I go fangirl when I see like the comic book cards, because those are like literally copy paste of comic book art, and that's what I was raised on. Because see, like, it looks weird. Like, yes, it looks like a Magic card to a degree, but it doesn't look like Spider-Man. So it's the weirdest dissonance that I ever had in a set. And mechanically, this shit is just not that good. So, you know, a lot of times you see some characters and go like, oh, this card has to be good. Like, for example, Mysterio, Master of Illusion. It's like, this card is okay. It's like, you know, it's like, it's not that good. It's okay. You know what I mean? So, and this thing isn't standard. So, and I think that what I saw recently, that, and you know, some creators voice their concerns more than others. I think that I don't consider myself a creator. I'm just a dude that does videos, and some of you that I appreciate a lot enjoy and leave comments and all that stuff. But I don't consider myself like a creator, not even in the same stratosphere as some of these guys. Not obviously not because of following, but just it doesn't feel to me the same. Like, I'm just a dude talking about stuff here and in other channel that I have, and then these guys are like, they it seems to me like they just live for this, right? Like, it's a production, it's stuff, whatnot. But this one is kind of comic, and I don't like it. This is like a sort of a sin box 6 card thing. I don't resonate with it. And all this to say, recently, Peter Parker's camera, cool. Recently, I saw one of the weirdest things, because, you know, the content creators for Magic the Gathering are divided into 3 categories, I would like to say. 4, maybe. You have what I call you have like the pack opening channels, right? I guess mine will fall in that category too, which is basically like, hey guys, and you just open stuff. Wizards, I guess, acknowledges you, but they don't really care. Like, some channels, maybe they acknowledge or sponsor or whatever, but they don't really care. It's like, these guys are opening product and showcasing it. So for Wizards, this is like a net positive. I don't really care. And normally these channels are sponsored by stores that sell that product, right? So, Norman Osborn Green Goblin, double-sided card, cool. So for those channels are that, I guess. Then you have the channels that are like small. I call them like rogue-ish channel, small like deck building channels or news channels. That is always like a dude, well, maybe it's 2 dudes or something, but it's like a dude that is like just those weird deck building or weird analysis or stuff like that. Like, for example, like the Red Devil. Is it Red Devil? Wait, what is the name of the channel? Damn, you can tell I'm getting old, because sometimes I can't remember this shit. I mean, all the videos is a Red Devil cartoon in the corner. It's kind of doing a presentation. It's called Red Devil Gaming or something. Oh fuck! I need to look at it when I finish this booster. Oh, another Iron Spider. When I finish this booster, I will look at it. Why did I say when I finish this booster? Because I have realized that if you do shenanigans when you're moving the cards, some people disbelieve that you pulled some cards. So please stand by. Okay, it wasn't a devil, it was a bobcat. The red bobcat, my bad. So the my apologies to him if he sees this video. It's like I watch your stuff, but for some reason I was like, it's a devil. I don't know why. Even though the channel is clearly the red bobcat, but whatever. I put like his channel in that category. It's like the rogues. So they do deck building. They analyze the gameplay of the thing. They are really deep into the stuff. Like some other channels, like the Salubrious Snail and whatnot, it's like they analyze the game, they criticize the game, they really care about the game mechanically, and then they do other analysis too. And it's like, I call them rogues. Why? Because it's like, you can tell that it's like, they by nature, you trust these guys, because these guys, they just like go full in. Nice, Superior Spider-Man. They just go full in the game. And, oh nice, Dr. Octopus Master Planner in foil? I thought that we didn't get these full arts in foil in this booster. Not bad. Kind of cool. Kind of cool indeed. Nice. Say like, for example, I like this. I'm not super hot on it. Like, it's like I'm not like, oh yeah, my new deck is gonna look super crazy. But as a card, because please remember that I was younger. When I was younger, I collected like Fleer Ultra cards. Actually, someday I should maybe do like a video just showing them in my binders. It was just like the Spider-Man ones, the X-Men ones, etc. And that's why I like these cards that are just like comic book art, and that's it. Sadly, I don't think about them as Magic the Gathering cards. So there is that. But yeah, those rogue channels are channels that you tend to trust, but you know that they are like the not the contrarians, but like they are the counterculture, right? It's like, they go against the herd to a degree, because they show you how to do weird things. They talk to you about the issues. They pinpoint the stuff. They just, well, they just speak the truth. That's why they hate them. It's like that, you know, that meme image of Jesus is like, they just hate him because he told the truth. So it's kind of like that. And to a degree, you know that they are kind of controversial channels, and they stand in that weird point where it's like, it's not a very commercial thing what they are doing. But you know, so I don't see them as corporate, and that also is a problem, right? But they also come off as like passion projects. And then you have like the big big-ish Magic the Gathering channels that more or less stay on the line, like MTG Goldfish, even the Prof. The Prof is the biggest Magic the Gathering channel, and everyone knows that he is not aligned with the thing. And then you have channels that I will say are more, that's the last category, is like more squeaky clean. When I say squeaky clean, I also don't mean it as an insult or anything. It's just like, they're like clearly aligned with the thing, because it's just like, listen, this is the game. We're not going to talk about anything about the game. Okay? This is the game. We're going to do the game. The game is both a game that we're not going to comment, and it's also part of the thing that gives us food. So we are not going to go against it or comment on it, because, you know, so that's like game nights. And to a degree, I thought that Commander at Home was like that. And then Kibler did that video, and I was like, my brother, I wasn't expecting you to do that. My kudos, like 100% respect. Because, you know, they just give me like that more like clean image of like, we don't want to touch things, you know. And to a degree, some other Web of Life and Destiny, okay, some other channels like the Nitpicking Nerds recently also did like, we need to comment on this, and they also commented on that. I was like, whoa, crazy, because I love Mia and Busy, and I was like, I don't think they're going to comment on this, because they're like a lot into like, you know, best cars, best thing, this is the video, this is the thing. And it was, I'm glad that they commented on this stuff, and same goes for Cleaver, for Kibler and all that stuff, because, you know, to me it's kind of weird that if you're a person that loves this so much, is part of your job, or is your job really, and you know, it's an essential part of your life, and then, you know, you don't have any complaints, like, you know what I mean? I understand not biting the hand that feeds you to a degree, right? And it's like, if we talk against, like, Wizard is not going to give us previews, or Wizard is not going to invite us to things, and whatnot. So I understand that second thinking, right? It's like, you know, but for fans, a lot of times it just looks like weird, right? That this person lives for the game, and it's like you don't have any opinion. I'm not saying that you have to hate it. It's like you don't have any opinion on this, and seeing these people being like, okay, listen, here are our opinions, and it's not like a fully hate opinion, right? It's just like valid takes and advice to improve the game and whatnot. To me, that was like refreshing and made me appreciate them more. So within all those categories, I will say that there is there's a secret type of Magic the Gathering channel. I guess you could call it the bonus drop of Magic the Gathering channels, which is the channel that is about Magic, but not really, but it really is, right? And those channels that are not about Magic, but not really, but it really is basically like they don't cover new stuff, right? They don't open packs. They don't do like advice for new players. They are mostly focused on what you could call secondary aspects of Magic the Gathering, which is like the art of the cards, the lore of the game, etc. Right? And in that category, we have channels like Spice Rack, which he recently did one about this very freaking set. And well, actually, it was more about the counterpart, like the Omen Paths set. And I like that video a lot. Because, I mean, you can tell that guy really cares. And he really, like, analyzed the freaking thing. He gave a couple of good ideas, too, that I was like, that's a good point. No one thought about that. That's crazy. And overall, all of his videos are around, like, lore or it's like meta things with Magic. It's weird. I love his chaos. Even though he's British. No, but then you have that. You also have Ristic Studies, and ironically, I kind of found about both of them. Like I saw some of their videos, but I just found about them as personalities because I saw there was like one Shuffle Up and Play that they did with the Prof. They did multiple, but it was like the first one, I think. And I was like, I love the energy that these crazy people have, right? And I think I may be getting the list of people wrong, but I think my favorite is weird because I'm going to say my favorite is, I think, because I don't remember who is in there, but I think I'm afraid that maybe I'm mixing it with some other session and I'm putting like two together in my head, but I think it's the one, maybe it doesn't exist and I am mixing stuff, in which case I apologize, but I think it's the one that is the Prof, Ristic Studies, Spice Rack, and Marcus from the Cosmonaut, right? Which I already kind of saw a lot of his videos before, and I didn't know he played Magic, and I was like, oh, that's Marcus, cool. And that video is so much freaking chaos. I love it. So Ristic Studies is also about the history of Magic, the lore of Magic, a lot of things. And he sometimes is sponsored by Wizards of the Coast, and sometimes he's not. And his content is, I don't know how to qualify it. I guess I will say it's very artistic. I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know, very artistic content. That's how I will qualify it. And he also talks about like the meta lore of the game a lot of times, which is like this deck, this card, this mechanic, this era, right? About foils, for example. So it's really good. And then another channel that I was very fond of, I mentioned it in this channel multiple times, is Magic Arcanum with Ryan Gomez, right? And Magic Arcanum is a channel that I normally go to whenever there is like a new set or new something or whatever. I just go like, let's see Ryan's recap on this. And Ryan does these great recaps about the sets, right? And his format is very good. It's like, what happens in X, right? Like what happens, well, not in Spider-Man, but like what happened in Ether Drift, right? What happened in Dragonstorm and stuff like that. And he also does what else happened in, when a set has like supplementary materials and stuff like that, he does like what else happens and stuff like that. And he has some videos about maybe some creatures, maybe some planes, maybe some topics. And he has this, cool, witty way of explaining it that I really enjoy. That is like, it's like talking to a friend to a degree. Like he's recapping this to you, but he's also adding some wit here and there. And at the end of the day, you understand it, right? So it's not like a MTG lore summarized thing. It's more of a, which it is to a degree, but it's like a friend just telling you about what happened there and adding some nuances here and there and giving you context and stuff and whatnot, because he's keeping with the lore. And it's sad that like one of the reasons why I'm bringing him into the fray in this recopilation of people that I like that do Magic the Gathering videos and complain / are affected by this is that he's I'm gonna say he stopped doing videos, but he kind of, I mean, it's no longer his main job or his main priority, I will say. And he points out, and rightfully so, that, there is not a lot of lore in this, which is a shame, because the Spider-Man set could have a story, maybe, and the Marvel set that is coming next year could have a story, right? I mean, you could have a ongoing story in the Universes Beyond sets. Like, for example, we're going to have, at least 5 Marvel sets, because it's 1 per Soul Stone or Soul Gem. Well, not Soul, per Infinity Gem. Then, do a story, like the MCU. You start with Spider-Man, then it's like the Avengers, and then something happens, and then, if someone really likes Marvel, instead of, just buying this shit for scalping, if someone really likes Marvel, maybe you can have a story there. And it doesn't even need to be an original story. You can just recap the fucking Infinity War, of the comics, of course. Just do the whole, instead of being hey guys, you like Spider-Man? Well, Doc Ock, Sinister Scientist, robotics mastery, crazy, Wraith, really vicious vigilante. Do you recognize this? Wow, right? So it could have some story. Obviously, The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit are an exception because they already have a story. It's a story end to end. So, it is what it is. But in Spider-Man, it's just a bunch of things. And I think it's a missed opportunity. But all this to say, my man Ryan is basically burned out and going to other games like Star Wars and whatnot, which is funny because I said multiple times in this channel, it's like, man, Star Wars is so dead to me because of what Disney has been doing in the last 5-10 years. And there he goes to Star Wars, even though arguably they did to Star Wars what Wizards is doing to Magic, but I digress. So everyone has their own preferences. It's just sad seeing this community. It really, when I think about that situation of him just going fuck it, because that's also another thing. He's a person that's been doing a lot of content for Magic and whatnot, and very clean content for Magic, and never got any endorsement or acknowledgement or whatever from Wizards that I can tell of, right? That I can from the outside. So it has to be demotivating. Then you see the game shaping away from what you know and love. And what else is there? So I understand. I'm sad, but I understand. Find it funny that this going for Star Wars though. Right? My name is Rey Skywalker. What is that? But now in the comics of Star Wars, right? In the freaking novels. I remember when I played Jedi Academy. Kyle Katarn was the one that stole the planes from the plans from the Death Star, not Jane Erso. Even though I like Rogue One, but I only like Rogue One because it's kind of it's the only Star Wars movie that feels like there is a war going instead of just skirmishes here and there. So yeah, but it's not gonna be a video of Star Wars, even though I could make one and just rant the entire freaking video. Oh, see, the Soul Stone. Crazy. I was just naming the freaking thing, and here it is. Not bad. I don't even know what this thing does. I just seen a lot of people pulling it. Obviously, the real expensive versions, not this one. And okay, are those the hands of Cosmic Spider-Man? No, right? Well, they look like it. So what does this thing do? 1 and 1 black is an Infinity Stone. which I really will die on this freaking hill, is an infinity gem. Like they have always been gems. In the comics, there were gems. In the video games, there were gems. Then comes the freaking Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's like, oh, there are stones. And it's like, okay, I guess there are stones. Like, it sounds so less epic, like the Soul Stone. It's a soul gem. It's like, whatever. So, indestructible. Okay, it's like the black one ring, basically. Tap, add one black. And 6 and 1 black, then tap, exile a creature you control, harness the Soul Stone. Once harnessed, its infinite ability is active. Infinite. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. I do wish, though, that there are 5 Soul Stones. So if you pull the 5 Soul Stones and you use the legendary artifact, Infinity Gauntlet, you win the game. It will be very funny that it's like Exodia, but for Magic the Gathering. Nice. Don't you love this freaking challenge? Like, I pull a Soul Stone. Oh, look at this freaking thing. I pull an island that is foil. Now this is a man's car. So, sorry guys, I just pulled a Soul Stone, so I can't complain about this set anymore. So from now on, this set is peak, and it's a real investment. And you should all buy Spider-Man cards, because that's what this is all about. So, sorry, sucks to be you. But, yeah, so... regarding that media coverage, I just want, yes, Mark Rosewater has said some things, but with all the respect to Mark. So I guess I am curious about seeing if there's going to be some sort of response or reaction to this. Ironically, there is no in-response from Wizards to this type of things, because a lot of important content creators are voicing their concerns, and therefore the community also, right? Like, but I don't think it's going to change. Now, I find it funny that now, there's a theory going on now that the reason why Lorwyn is next year is because otherwise it would have been too many universes. This poster was good. Like Origin of Spider-Man, Lizards, Connor's Course, and Araña, Heart of the Spider. Not bad. I mean, no one cares about Araña, but the card is cool. That they only push it back because otherwise next year it will be too much universes beyond. And some people even say that they switch like Avatar and Lorwyn, because otherwise, imagine, it will be like, it's already 4-3. If you put Avatar, it will be 5-2. That will be crazy. So yeah, and I was like, isn't it obvious when they announced that it will be moved to later, and then it was like unannounced universes beyond set that turned out to be Avatar? It's like, they're totally trying to, keep the old fans happy with the whole shenanigans of like, guys, it's like, it's like swinging keys in front of a baby, right? It's like, guys, Lorwyn, don't you like Lorwyn? Lorwyn is a set for old people that like Magic, because only old people recognize Lorwyn. Don't you like it, guys? Yay! Forget about the rest of stuff. Look at this. Wow, the beginning of the year starting crazy. Oh, we're not doing remaster sets anymore, but wow, crazy, guys. Right? So it feels a little bit like that. Also, I haven't commented it yet, but I will comment on it when I open the Lorwyn commander decks and do the reviews. But apparently they have removed the collector booster sample pack from the commander deck. So you know all the commander deck reviews that I do in this channel, and I always, because we do Bundle Mania, and therefore I keep going back whenever I have the chance. And then for example, we're gonna do the Spider-Man bundle soon, so I need to come to the future, and then I keep going back on Bundle Mania. And I always say like, oh, remember this? They took this away from us. And it's like, always something like the box that was underneath, the booklet, the cup. Remember the cardboard cup? Well, that's... and recently, they took from the commander decks, they took the life counter, which, okay, true, I never used that thing in my life, but it was a nice thing to have, you know what I mean? It's like, it's cardboard. I mean, this is like when the airlines are like, oh, we're going to remove... This happened, by the way. It's like, we're going to remove an olive from all of our plates of food, and they save like millions of dollars just because of removing an olive per plate. Here's the same. Obviously, they remove that, they save a lot of money, and no one cares. But there was the writing on the wall. They removed like They keep removing tokens, which is weird. They just there's a lot of decks recently that just give us like those pop-up counters. It's like, thank you, I guess. Just give me tokens, man. Like, what the hell? Then they removed like the life counter, and I keep saying, like, in those videos I kept saying, like, man, they are going to remove the deck box one of these days. Man, the Clone Saga, what a fucking mess. Like, I was saying, like, they're going to remove the deck box, and that's going to be a sad day and whatnot. Now, Wizards surprised me. They actually went Yugi on me, and they were like, "Ha! You activated my trap card, boom!" Because they didn't remove the deck box. They removed the collector booster sample pack, which, okay. Now, I don't know if they gave like a official reason for that. I read somewhere that like the quote unquote official reason is that players were being confused because some of those cards can be used with the deck that you're buying and can be used for a standard and blah blah blah. And it's like, who are you kidding, Wizards? Like, it always said that it's a collector booster sample pack, and it's basically the same approach as like the first one is free, so that you get people hooked into buying freaking collector boosters. So what? It was like a nice thing, you know. It's like there's no value there. It's just like a gift of sorts to the degree, because no one buys the deck because of that, because you only get 2 cards, and they are like, they are nerfed. The pool of cards that you can get from the sample packs is not the same as a collector booster. So it's just like you open them and go, haha, cool. Sometimes you can get the full art, some versions of some cards that you already have, and you just swap them, and it's like, oh, nice, and that's it. And sometimes you get a card that you can't use, but it's just cool. And now they remove that. And let's remember that they removed in backwards order. They removed the plastic commander card. Remember that we had a plastic commander card? They removed that. They removed the oversized commander card too. So, and they increased the prices too. So they removed stuff and increased the prices. It's difficult for. I said like 2 podcasts ago, like I'm going to try and be more positive, because, you know, you're watching this is like your day off or something, or you're doing some work or whatnot. You don't want to hear a grown man bitching about a card game, but sometimes it is complicated. Damn, even if I try to talk about Spider-Man, it is complicated. I'm still waiting for the 3rd movie from Sony Studios. I don't know why, from the Spider-Verse, you know, the last one. It's taking forever. I don't know if it's even going to be released at this point. It's like, why is it taking so long? After a movie that clearly was a cliffhanger that was counting on having a 3rd one, because animation is expensive, I guess. And, oh, nice. Talking about the devil, Reprieve. This is my type of card. It's just like the most zero effort card. This is like what proxies are for. It's just an existing card, but with a Spider-Man skin that is just literally an image that already existed. And there you have it. Now this is what I want in my Magic sets. No, and I'm not joking. I honest to God, prefer these, same with Final Fantasy to a degree, than a lot of this. Just because, you know, this is pretty. And I like this. To me, this is a Spider-Man, not this. So, yeah. The wonders of being a Spider-Man fan and a Magic the Gathering fan is that I can be unhappy about 2 things at the same time, which is crazy. So, I remember in the last podcast also I started to talk, because this happens with me a lot, I deviate sometimes because of the cards we pull or whatever, but I started to talk about this game that was like a Weeb GTA. It was called, I forgot the name of the game, Adina or something. The reason why, I think I never explained why I started to talk about that game. The reason why I started to talk about that game is because it basically copies all the freaking mechanics from Marvel's Spider-Man, the PlayStation game. Like, for some reason, the main protagonist swings with a black thing, like as if he was Venom. And then the combat is like Marvel's Spider-Man. And it's like, that trailer was showcased in a Sony thing, and it's in the PlayStation channel. And it's like, Sony, did you approve this? Like, I guess they did, but it's like, technically, it's not illegal to copy game mechanics unless they are patented, because some game mechanics are patented, like the Nemesis system from the Lord of the Rings, Shadow of Mordor, because Warner Brothers games are that type of company. And, you know, and for the longest time, I think it was Bandai Namco also that had copyrighted the ability to have mini games in the loading screens. So yeah, then Mr. Negative, by the way, there's a cool thing that someone did on Reddit that is like, if you put negative on a negative filter on the Mr. Negative card, you can actually see like Mr. Negative perfectly. Because right? But like it's just cool. I don't know. I like it. So that game is crazy looking. And talking about games, because I don't know, since we're already doing this podcast anyway, this week is kind of loaded with nostalgia, and not only that. So we got Ghost of Yotei, which some people were looking into it. Some people were really not looking into it because of some politics drama or some shit. I don't know. It's basically the same game again, guys. So, which is okay. Either you like it or not, right? It's like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, which is the same game again, but with more stuff. Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei, same stuff. Just different protagonists. Obviously, it's not Jin Sakai because, well, otherwise stretching his story around Japan will be kind of weird. So I got it. I haven't started playing it yet, but it looks cool. And the mask that comes with the collector edition is crazy as hell. So there is that. And there's a lot of nostalgia for me this week because we also got, another comic book card for, in this case, a Black Cat. We got the Super Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2 more or less remasters on the Switch, because they are remasters. They are just not like fully announced as remasters. Like if you have a Switch 2, the thing runs at 4K, right? So some textures have been reworked, so it looks very cool. Now I have to say that I don't know if I'm getting old or something, but the point system, the pointing system with the two Switch controllers with the Joy-Cons is not as good as it was with the Wii. And you can be like, well, that's because the Wii had light sensor on top of the TV, and this one is just accelerometers. It's like, okay, brother, but this thing is like 20 years later. Or the technology should be way beyond that. And the thing is, it works as a pointer, but then for some levels, like the ones that you have to like pull Mario or like do things with Mario like this or whatnot, I don't know, maybe I'm old, but it just doesn't work like it used to. Like I have all the freaking stars from in the Wii games, and now I'm having kind of a struggle. Also, Mario doesn't move as he should. Like a lot of times, like this is a planet, right? And Mario is walking around it, and that's kind of the cool thing about Super Mario Galaxy. And sometimes I'm just moving the stick, and this happened with the Joy-Cons and both the controller. He just like loops in circles. He like gets stuck, and he's just like, and just move it. And I tried with multiple controllers. It's just like a game thing. I don't know if that happened in the Wii. Or maybe I'm just too old, or maybe I'm just too used to the recent iterations of Mario, like Mario Odyssey, where the controllers are like refined and all that. I don't know. That's weird. But without a doubt, the game that was released this week, also Age of Mythology had a Japanese mythology upgrade, and it's kind of cool, actually, I have to say. But because, yes, I am a big nerd of the Age of games, that's how you will learn history and mythology, guys. But this week we had one of the most important releases ever, which is Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, or Ivalice. I don't know, people pronounce it all sorts of ways. So one of the best Final Fantasy games ever, because technically it's not really a Final Fantasy. It's a tactics game. It's a strategic JRPG, but the story and the characters are and that thing is in every freaking platform. So if you love tactical games, strategical games, and you love Final Fantasy, if you love one of those two things, the game is for you. If you love both, trust me, the game is for you. And if you only like one of those a little bit, maybe try it, just, I don't know, download it. I don't know if there is a demo, but maybe just pirate it, like pirate it, try it, and if you like it, buy it. That's, to me, that's a valid use of piracy. Similar to like a proxy, you proxy the card, and then if you like it, you can go buy it. I guess it's because otherwise you're just buying things blindly, and we don't have demos, so it seems to me like a valid way of just, trying stuff. Last booster, and you will be thinking the Age of Mythology update is the only win from Microsoft this week, because they increased the Game Pass price by 50%. It's like, what are these guys thinking? What the fuck? So so many people went to cancel their subscriptions that the page that handles that was down for a while. So that is crazy. Now when it comes to, I think we're in a period of peace when it comes to Magic right now, because there is no previews for Avatar. To be fair, they did spoil a lot of things right before Age of Eternity. So Age of Eternity suffered so that we could have this peace period, I guess. But they will start coming out at any minute now. And after all the news from last week, you really want more news. Like, that's a lot of crazy stuff. On the Spider-Man front, right? The only Marvel game in the horizon is really just the Wolverine game that I can think of, right? At least like high value Marvel game. Obviously, if you think about Marvel Rivals or something. Oh, well, actually, no, there is another Marvel game in the horizon. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. That thing has such a good look because it's basically a Marvel vs. Capcom, but not really. It's just basically Marvel superheroes and done by Arc System Works. So if you like fighting games, the thing is looking on the spot. So copy. And that's it. So when it comes to card games, we are at sort of a peace period, more or less. And when it comes to Spider-Man, we are also at a peace period. Now, I gotta be honest, when they announced the secret lair drops for Spider-Man, that a lot of them are still in stock, by the way. So not even the secret lair drops are interesting. They are too expensive. Like the ones that are like the symbiote lands that basically look like Fire Action lands, but whatever. Those things look cool. They still are too expensive. I don't like to pay $65 for 10 lands. What are you smoking? Come on. Even though I love lands, I mean, you saw my reaction to this one, but like, come on. One thing that I have to admit is that I was expecting some sort of, tongue-in-cheek thing like they did with the Lord of the Rings, where the secret airdrop was basically the Bakshi cards, even though they were like very bad screenshots in the cards, but it was like a reference to a different adaptation of the Lord of the Rings. It's interesting that they didn't do the movie version of the Lord of the Rings in any point. They just do like the Bakshi. I guess it's because copyright and rights and paying for that and stuff. But for Spider-Man, I was hoping some sort of the secret lair will be like more creative. Like, this one of these drops is for Spider-Man the animated series, right? Like the one from the 90s that a lot of people like me today are fans of that, of Spider-Man and shit, because of things like that. Or maybe one for like Into the Spider-Verse with the visual style of the just screenshots from the freaking movie. I know that's low effort, but I was expecting that wink wink kind of thing, and it didn't happen. So surprising, I guess. I don't know. And now I'm just waiting. I think next week is when they start doing the drops for like the Office, Iron Maiden, Jaws, and all that stuff. And let's see how that comes out. But we're living in interesting times. I am really excited for Lorwyn because I like a lot of the creatures that they showed, like those creatures that represent the night and the day and all that stuff. Like it really looks like interesting visually, and I guess that mechanically it will be decent. I hope. I saw those cards, but I haven't seen we haven't seen a lot of that. Avatar, I just saw some cards. I am not expecting a lot, and I think that's the problem. Doing sets like this and the Avatar one, yes, for them it's cool because they release this now and then they release Avatar, and we are close to Black Friday and we are close to Christmas, so Hasbro is going to make a lot of money, which if you have been seeing the news recently, there have been a lot of videos and report on information that technically was very old, so I don't know why we're talking about this only now, but saying that, hey, did you know that most of Wizards' income comes from, most of Hasbro's income comes from Wizards, so, right? And that's the reason why this is happening, and blah, 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 and this is not changing because of that, and etc., right? So, and otherwise Hasbro will be like very dead at this point, apparently, so, okay, basically video games like Monopoly Go and Baldur's Gate and all this stuff, and Magic the Gathering are what is keeping Hasbro alive. And that's okay, I guess, but the interesting aspect is that they do this type of sets, people buy this stuff, I mean, guilty, right? But because it's more product. I for Universes Beyond, to me, the ideal approach will be what we did with Doctor Who or with Warhammer 40k, right? Which is, listen, there are 4 Commander decks or something, because Commander is like casual, no one cares. People use proxies. It's like a lot more flexible, right? So, and it doesn't. It's like a self-contained thing. It doesn't run modern. It doesn't run standard. It doesn't run. Well, the standard is kind of there already, so whatever. But like the thing is that it's like a self-contained thing. And if you want boosters, they had collector boosters so that you get the cards. And you can see how the strategy has been evolving. Like at the beginning, it was like Warhammer 40k collector. You have commander decks, and then you have the collector commander decks, which is basically every card in foil. And it's like, But that became difficult for people to get all the foil cards, right? So they in Doctor Who they fixed it. It was like, okay, listen, 4 commander decks and collector boosters. So if you want special treatments, you still have to gamble because we love gambling in this game. It's like, okay, that I guess that makes sense. If you want bling bling, buy that. Everyone else, if you buy the 4 decks of Doctor Who, you have every freaking card pretty much, except the special treatments. But you have the cards, and that's great. Both if you're a fan of Doctor Who and you want the full set, and if you're a fan of Magic, things are self-contained. However, that apparently doesn't give enough money, so we have been evolving. Assassin's Creed was a beyond booster set that, just because they tried with March of the Machine, the Aftermath didn't work. And this thing apparently was supposed to be the same. But they were at last minute, they were like, and that's why there is a lot of commons and uncommons that are just very meh. And the other reasoning here is, there is play boosters, collector boosters, bundle, a super duper bundle. You have scene boxes, you have a pre-release, right? You have all this stuff, crazy. And instead of just doing like 4 commander decks and collector boosters, which is cleaner for everyone. But this way, people just chase the soul stone, guys, right? And it's like, okay, I guess. And for Avatar, they invented new things like the commander box, which is not a commander deck, but it's kind of what you need to build a commander deck, but not really. And it has a collector booster because, right? And it just keeps pushing. When it should be just like self-contained things. It's just very messy. And that's what is really, in my opinion, that's what's really giving sickness to people of like just product overload, because it's so many cards, so much stuff. And in normal Magic, we already have a lot of these who cares cards, right? A lot of these cards, no disrespect to both the artist and the designer of these cards, I'm certain this thing has a lot of work into it. I've seen some commons and uncommons that have some of the craziest art, but it's not up to them if it's going to be a common and uncommon, right? For example, even if this card is just a reference to another card and the art is great, it's still an uncommon. So it is what it is, right? So that's on one side. But then the mechanical side, believe it or not, I understand that coming up with mechanically different cards that are not very good is kind of likely harder than just doing good cards, right? So coming up with shitty cards is complicated. And for what? Just for most people to treat it like bulk and throw it in boxes or whatever, because no one uses them for anything except maybe the pre-release and maybe Friday Night Magic if the set is good. Because, or if you do Pauper, I guess that's great, but Wizards doesn't push for Pauper because, well, that's not where the money is. So, people use Pauper as a way of using this. So this is really a waste. And to a degree, boosters like the March of the Machine boosters, I am not completely against, right? Less cards, but you only get, relevant cards or good cards. The problem is that they price those the same. And for a lot of people, me included, I understand that there is a lot of work both in the art and the mechanical design. So we are paying for R&D, not for the cardboard. But, you can't charge to me the same for a booster that has 6 cards than for a booster that has 15 or 12, because it just doesn't work like that. Even if there is more value, because then why include in the bulk? Just to give me the false illusion of value and just making a worse planet, I guess, because all this is cut trees, people. So, so to a degree, I would like to see smaller boosters with just more valuable cards instead of a bunch of random shit that no one is going to use ever. And it's just pollution. It's physical pollution, digital pollution, because there's a bunch of databases with cards that no one cares about. But sadly, Magic above all, and this is the thing that people are complaining now about Universes Beyond, but the thing that I don't understand why this is now a problem is because Magic has always been a card game that is a business above everything else. It's not a self-contained game. The moment they started to add expansions, and expansions needed to have chase cards so that you buy them, because in the beginning when they did expansions that were kind of meh, no one bought them because there was no powerful cards there. then the game was always going to be power creep and always pay to win. So this is the nature of the game. Formats like Commander are community countermeasures to this. Like, we play with our shoebox of cards because I already have a bunch of shit in my house. I don't want to buy more, and I just need a copy. And everyone uses a copy. Gentleman's agreement, huzzah, right? That's how it works. But it has always been a business, and now it's just a business multiplied by 7. I will say, like, it was always a business. It always had, like, the next set is gonna be good because it has this chase card that is kind of powerful. It was always like playing with the drop rates. It was always about, oh, look at this. We invented a new way for you to spend more money. And then they introduced like collector boosters, which is just a way of charging you for better pulls, like in a gacha game. They had like from the vault, then they have like secret layers. They're always getting ways of biting you for nostalgia, for power, or for whatever, while they treat this as what it is, which is stock. Stock as in not cardboard stock, but stock market. They treat this as stocks. They just put certain reprints on the market of certain cards because, God forbid, they flood the market and then some cards lose value because they treat players like shareholders. So, that's why they don't touch the reserve list because, oh, God forbid, they make those cards drop value, right? And it's like, I guess, but at the same time, who gives a fuck? Everyone that plays Magic and wants to use those cards just proxies them. And everyone that has them doesn't play with them, just has them as trophies because, oh, they are so god expensive. But they are all expensive because of the perceived mechanical value of those cards. No one cares. Like, alpha cards are expensive, but the Power 9 are expensive because those are very good cards that also happen to be very old, and therefore no one cares for them. And that is like you put that together with the stamp collecting nature of the game, and boom, right? And the only reason why those cards have value is because the generation, my generation, your generation, very likely if you're watching this video, grew up with trading cards. So for us, this thing has value, inherent value. But for the new generations, being that these cards are so expensive and is so predatory and so gambly machiney, which is weird that no country has stepped in to regulate this shit. Is weird. Like, we regulate loot boxes for FIFA, but not this shit. That's kind of crazy. So the newer generations are not going to care about this, right? Maybe they're going to care about like some NFC, not NFT, NFT, not NFC, like some crypto token stuff. They don't care about this shit. Only if they grew up on this. And if this thing is not easy for them to access, no one is going to pay for this. So the collectors are going to be hurt anyway because no one is going to pay for this. The only people that pay for Pokemon cards are idiots like me that grew up on 1, fucking trading cards, and 2, freaking Pokemon. So, but if the Pokemon games are bad and no one plays them, which they still sell a lot, so that's not a worry. But if the Magic cards are expensive and no one plays, and you do a Spider-Man set, and then there is not really any newcomers product, because the only newcomers product are decks that you're supposed to give for free, but people are not giving for free because they are worth something. Who's going to play these in the future, and why, and how is your investment going to hold any value if no one cares, right? There's a reason why Marvel, Disney and Warner both do relaunches of Batman and Superman and Spider-Man, both in cartoon and in movies and in whatever the hell, every X time. It's not only because those characters are very popular, but it's because they need to introduce it to a new generation of people so that the IP keeps its value. The same happens with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The only reason why we have the ones from the 90s, the ones from the 2000s, and the one from the 2012, and then we had the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is because they need a new generation of Ninja Turtles for new generations with their sensibilities and their styles, so that each generation of people has their Ninja Turtles, and those are always relevant. And yes, I skipped the ones from Michael Bay because those things are not Ninja Turtles. Those things are horrible, and those movies are shit. But all this to say, I understand the complaints of the community. I share them also. But the interesting thing that apparently no one is thinking about is, at the end of the day, if we don't treat this as a game and there is no people willing to spread the game to other people, this is going to die in one way or another. Maybe it's going to die mechanically, maybe it's going to die as a community, or more importantly, your investments are going to shit. Because the only reason why for example, Rudy is able to fucking hoard Legos and things like that is because of idiots like me that grew up with Legos. If Legos right now are crazy expensive as they are, even though, well, if you make the math, the price by brick is kind of cheaper now than it was before, but the only Legos that sell now crazy numbers are the nostalgic ones, like the Game Boy that they released, because it is of people like me. So basically the millennials, Gen Z, those two are kind of the nostalgia bearers right now. After that generation stops having money or dies, the next generation, what is going to be the nostalgic property for the next generation? I can tell you. It's going to be Five Nights at Freddy's, which technically already is nostalgic. Remember when the Minecraft movie came this year? And a lot of people were like, man, I remember playing that as a kid. And I was like, as a kid? What? And it's like, yeah, for a lot of people, Minecraft is already nostalgic. So Minecraft, Five Nights at Freddy's, for a lot of people, their Spider-Man cards are going to be cards with MatPat on fucking them, right? So it's going to be MatPat, Mr. Beast. Those guys are going to be like the nostalgic content for a lot of kids these days. And yes, Italian brain rot too. So I guess coming up in 4 or 3 years, we will have Magic the Gathering Secret Lair drop, Ballerina Cappuccina, and Tung Tung Sang or whatever the fuck, or Asesino Cappuccino or some shit, I don't know. So kind of a long ride at the end, but as usual, thanks for listening or watching or whatever you are doing in this case. I hope you had a great time, even though I really went off the rails here. And as usual, if you want to suggest any topic for me to tackle at the next podcast, please feel free. If I know what I'm talking about, I hope it will be interesting. If I don't know what I'm talking about, it will be more interesting because you can call me an idiot and correct me. So I guess win-win there. And well, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and please have a comment because it always makes my day. Bye.